Calling the supreme leader of North Korea enigmatic or mysterious would be an understatement. His background, from top to bottom, is largely kept a secret or filled in with highly curated fake details. Unlike other leaders, we know very little about his upbringing, which is fleshed out by reports and second-hand accounts. To remain supreme leader means maintaining the cult of personality that his father and grandfather had cultivated. The more mysterious, the better. Today, however, we ask, who is the man behind the mystery, and how did we get here? Welcome to Neapolitan. Today, we're going to be looking at the supreme leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. Known across the political stage for a hothead and aggressive nuclear expansion, there is more mysteriously shrouded about the North Korean leader than we can know. We will look at how the third and youngest son of Kim Jong-il became the leader following his father's death, and how he has maintained a tight grip on the northern half of the North Korean peninsula since 2011. We're going to take a dive into where he's from, how he got here, and look at the man he is today. We'll be looking at it broken down into 3 unique sections, like Neapolitan ice cream. The vanilla, the who, what, where, and when of the folks that changed the world. Chocolate, that flavor punch. Controversy and adversity make life so interesting. And the strawberry, the lasting legacy and lick that all Neapolitan lives come with. If you're interested in other videos like this or different in-depth looks at essential people throughout history, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with post notifications, hence you never miss a single one. Without further ado, let's get into it. Vanilla. Most reports put Kim Jong-un's birth around January 8th, though the year has varied past that. He was either born in 1982, 1983, or 1984, depending on who you ask. It's understood that state media and Pyongyang's propagandists placed his birthday in 1982 to tidy up the historical narrative. This is because 1982 marks the 70th year after his grandfather's birth and 40 years after his father's official birth. Past that, we know little outside of second-hand accounts of him. We know that Kim is the third and youngest son of his father and the second-born son of his second mistress, Ko Young-hui. He has an older brother with the same mother, Kim Jong-chul, born in 1981, and a sister, Kim Yo-jong, likely born in 1987. We know he spent some time in 2 different schools in Switzerland, where his mother was being treated for the breast cancer that would eventually claim her life. Reports claim Kim Jong-un attended the private international school of Bern in Gumlingen, Switzerland from 1993 to 1998. He was described as having been a well-integrated and ambitious student who liked playing basketball, but his grades reflected poorly in his overall attendance. He was introduced to his classmates as Un Pak, or Pak-un, and is remembered by classmates as a skinny boy in jeans, Nike trainers, and a Chicago Bulls sweatshirt. He struggled academically, first attending special foreign language classes before graduating to regular courses in the 6th to 9th years. His final year abruptly ended in 2000 when he left. An older student would chaperone him, though, to be his bodyguard. However, it is unclear whether these reports are Kim Jong-un or his older brother, Kim Jong-chul. Generally, Jong-un was a shy child who struggled to talk to girls and was usually indifferent toward political issues. He distinguished himself in sports and had a general fascination with the American Basketball Association and Michael Jordan. He also reportedly loved computer games and Jackie Chan action movies. Many analysts agree Kim Jong-un attended Kim Il-sung University, a leading officer training school in Pyongyang, between 2002 and 2007. During this time, he obtained 2 degrees in physics and another as an army officer. Kim Jong-un's oldest half-brother, Kim Jong-nam, had been the favorite to succeed his father but lost favor in 2001. This was when he was caught trying to enter Japan illegally with a forged passport, reportedly to visit Tokyo Disneyland. He was killed in Malaysia in 2017, which is suspected of being carried out by North Korean agents. Kim Jong-il's former personal chief, Kenji Fujimoto, would reveal details regarding Kim Jong-un, with whom he'd had a good relationship. He claims he'd been favored after his older brother, Kim Jong-chul, who had been seen as too feminine in character, where he saw Jong-un as exactly like his father. As described by Fujimoto, One episode claimed Jong-un questioned his lavish lifestyle, asking how ordinary people live in comparison. Kim Jong-un was named the successor in 2009, though he didn't ascend to leadership until his father died in 2011. He had been made a daejang in 2010, which is the equivalent of a 4-star general in the United States. He was announced to have earned this promotion in a press conference, which was the first time he'd been named by North Korean media, despite having no previous military experience. After, Jong-un was named vice chairman of the Central Military Commission and appointed to the Central Committee of the Workers' Party, which was an apparent nod for him to become the successor of Kim Jong-il. Following his father's death, Kim Jong-un was quickly hailed the great successor to the revolutionary cause of Ju Shu-se, hailed promptly by state media as a great person born of heaven, as his father and grandfather were. As a leader, Kim Jong-un enjoys his role as part of a triumvirate, heading the executive branch, along with Premier Kim Tak-hun and Parliament Cho Ryong-hae. He commands armed theses, while Kim Tak-hun runs the government and handles domestic affairs, and Cho Ryong-hae handles foreign relations. Under the Constitution, however, Kim Jong-un is the highest ranking of the three. He also performs symbolic acts associating him with the personality cult of his father and grandfather. He regularly tours the country, offering on-the-spot guidance. As a leader, Kim Jong-un has appeared more accessible and open than his father, hugging and linking arms with young and old. He seems more active than his predecessors, as he's been seen weeding, riding horses, driving tanks and roller coasters, and using information technology. In 2012, Kim Jong-un's reign showed a change in cultural policy from his father by attending a Western pop culture-influenced Moranbong band concert. He used this event to introduce his wife to the public, an unprecedented move in North Korea. Kenji Fujimoto visited North Korea around this time and said stores were brimming with products and the streets were cheerful. He said that Kim Jong-un assuming power had changed North Korea a lot. Chocolate. The early years of Jong-un's reign were characterized by a ruthless consolidation of power and the escalation of North Korea's nuclear weapons program. In 2013, Kim executed his uncle, Jang Song-thaek, saying he removed the scum from the North Korean Workers' Party. Jang was long a member of Kim Jong-il's inner circle, serving as a virtual regent for the younger Kim after his death. Jang's execution marked a break with Beijing, as Jang had been an advocate for closer ties with China. Kim sought to remove all traces of Jang's existence, putting members of Jang's family to death, including children and grandchildren. While the case of Jang's extensive execution might have been the highest profile of those officially purged by Jong-un, defectors in South Korean intelligence services reported people who had vocalized their displeasure with the regime were regularly executed. In many cases, individuals who had been killed in a spectacularly grisly fashion resurfaced years later. This showed how difficult it was to obtain accurate information about the events within North Korea. Allegations in 2013 claimed Kim had killed his ex-girlfriend, singer Hyeon Sung-woo, who was reportedly executed for violating pornography laws. These turned out to be false as she was found to be alive and well in South Korea as of 2016. Oh Sang-hon, a deputy security minister in the Ministry of People Security in the government of North Korea, was reportedly killed in a political purge in 2014, using a flamethrower for his support of Jang Song-thaek. Under Kim Jong-il, North Korea's nuclear weapons program had advanced in fits and starts. The country's first underground nuclear detonation came months after ballistic missile tests in 2016. As of February 2013, they saw their first atomic tests of the regime, and the pace of both long-range and underground tests and detonations quickened dramatically. By 2017, North Korea had made 6 nuclear tests, including one that North Korean officials claimed was small enough to mount an intercontinental ballistic missile. As a significant part of the mainland, United States was now theoretically within range of a North Korean nuclear attack. This began a war of words between Jong-un and former U.S. President Donald Trump. A meeting with the former U.S. President became the first face-to-face meeting in history between the two nations. The two leaders agreed to work together. Kim pledged toward complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, while Trump promised to end the U.S.-North Korea military exercises. This steady stream of insults and bombastic rhetoric between Washington and Pyongyang happened when Kim initiated an unlikely charm offensive stateside. A dialogue between the North and South were opened when Democratic Party candidate Moon Jae-in became president of South Korea in 2017, as this reopened the door of possible engagement. This was mainly hindered by the escalation of the North Korean nuclear program. Still, in the weeks before the 2018 South Korean Winter Olympic Games, this dialogue led to North and South Korean athletes marching in the opening ceremonies under a flag depicting a unified Korea. Kim's sister, Kim Yo-jong, attended the Games. This would mean she became the first member to visit the South since the end of the Korean War. What we know of the treatment of North Korean citizens for sure as well is limited. Human rights disclosure in North Korea has a long, sordid history, predating the establishment of the state in 1948. North Korean human rights theory regards rights as conditional rather than universal. They hold that collective rights are held over individual rights as a standard. Freedoms of expression, labor rights, and religion have long since been debated and uncertain within the state. The state's stances on the rights of the people vary case by case. There should be no discrimination of disability to be placed on children by all accounts. However, in a 2006 AP report from South Korea, North Korean doctor Ri Kwang-chol claimed that those born with physical defects were rapidly put to death and buried. A UN report highlights statements by defectors as well that disabled people are allegedly rounded up and sent to special camps. This is among reports of food shortages and food-based distribution discrimination, forced prostitution, abortions and trafficking, public executions, and life-threatening prison conditions that make a strong case against the words from the state-run media. Among the many things that Kim Jong-un has done to the people of his country, executions are just one of the many atrocities. Reportedly, Kim had anti-aircraft guns tear government officials into pieces in front of hundreds of people due to falling asleep during an event the supreme leader attended. One defector claimed to have watched 11 musicians meet the same fate for violating anti-pornography laws in the country. In 2020, orders were made to shoot to kill with those infected with the coronavirus to maintain their zero positive case reportings. Claims are made that these people were sneaking into the country to infect them with the virus to justify this harsh punishment and execution. Some executions were notably also carried out with flamethrowers, including one of Jong-un's own uncle. There are long since reports of teenage girls being trafficked by being plucked from schools to go to work at one of the hundreds of the homes around Pyongyang. The most attractive girls were assessed and taught to serve the supreme leader food before being turned into sex slaves under the threat of being made to disappear if they objected or made any sort of mistake. These girls are among the many who are also forced into labor, exported to countries like Russia, China, and Poland to work 10 to 12-hour days and have 90% of their wages directly funneled into Jong-un's pockets. In January 2013, Navi Pillay, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, said that the human rights situation had not improved since Kim had assumed power, calling for an investigation. The report that came out of this in 2014 suggested Kim could be made accountable at the International Criminal Court for Crimes Against Humanity. Strawberry. As it currently stands, North Korea has been struggling to meet the food needs of its citizens. Their agricultural sector has failed to meet grain targets due to recent typhoons and the closure of its borders to help contain the spread of COVID-19. Sanctions stemming from the regime's nuclear recalcitrance have resulted in high costs in a humanitarian sense. The continued closure of China-North Korea borders and North Korea ports has stressed the suffering even more. Without trade with China, as the country relied on them for food, fertilizer, and fuel alike, it blocked shipments that the country greatly needed. Mid-2021, Kim made a rare admission of looming hardship as a peek behind the heavy curtain of secrecy within the country. The total number of North Koreans starving at this point, or those who have starved to death, is unknown, with estimates ranging up to 3 million. It's unusual for Kim Jong-un to publicly acknowledge the food shortage, but he has also admitted his economic plan has failed. When Kim took over from his father, he promised his people a more prosperous future, promising meat on tables and free access to electricity. He's now having to prime his population for increased hard work without the promise of it working. Since 2019, reports estimate 43% of the population has been food insecure. only exacerbated by the pandemic and natural disasters of 2020. Recent reports say that he is trying to tie the hardships to the global pandemic, as he pointed out to party officials that the world situation is getting worse and worse. State-controlled information allows Kim to paint a picture of things being bad across the board, and not just a North Korean failure. North Korea was among the first countries to shut down borders after the Beijing announcement of the coronavirus. Along with other developing economies, North Korea's economy has taken a hit, contracting by 4.5% in 2020. This is a mark of North Korea's steepest economic decline since the massive famine of the 1990s. Jong-un has used the pandemic to re-establish control of the markets, punish private entrepreneurs and officials, and limit the use of foreign currency. Campaigns have been launched to crack down on outside information and foreign culture, to hedge capitalist tendencies from infiltrating the media of the northern half of the peninsula. North Korea suffers from hunger, malnutrition, and other chronic health-related issues, including tuberculosis. For now, borders remain closed, and how reopening will go depends on how it is handled in the months forward. Whether Kim maintains control over the legitimate markets, or if North Korean entrepreneurs become further empowered to bring about social and economic change. The COVID-19 pandemic could serve in either perspective as a solidifying force or a reset button, shifting the relations between society and government in one way or another. If you like this video and want to see more like it, then make sure to leave a like so we know what you think and can continue to bring you the kind of videos you want to see. Let us know if you think there was anything we missed, or if you'd like to see someone in particular in the future. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the material we've shown or other videos like this. Check out the other videos on this channel for fascinating looks into historical figures like this. Until next time, this has been Neapolitan, and we'll see you around.